Hey there, Bills Mafia. We're back with another exclusive deep dive straight out of Buffalo. You already know the vibes. We're all about getting better, grinding harder, and chasing that Super Bowl glory. The Bills are doing everything they can this offseason to perfect the roster. That means sharpening the edges, tightening the defense, and making the tough calls to give us the best shot possible. Before we dive into today's story, do me a favor, smash that like button and hit subscribe if you haven't already. We've got hot stories, exclusive updates, and all the latest straight from One Bills Drive. Let's go! Now, let's talk about something that's been buzzing around the league. An intriguing trade proposal involving Buffalo's own AJ Epenesa. Yeah, you heard that right. According to a recent piece by Anthony Palacios of Last Word on Sports, the Carolina Panthers might want to make a move for Epenesa, who's currently carrying a $12 million price tag on his deal. The Panthers, coming off a rough defensive year, are clearly looking to load up on edge rushing talent. And Palacios thinks Epenesa might be exactly what they need. So what's the logic behind this? The Panthers currently have Jadeveon Clowney and DJ Wonnum, who combined for 9.5 sacks last season. That's not ideal. Carolina's trying to put a real defense around Derrick Brown and make a push in the NFC South. And let's be honest, Epenesa would be an upgrade. The guy has been solid for the Bills. 3 straight seasons of 6 or more sacks, and he's only 26. That kind of consistency, it doesn't just grow on trees. So why would the Bills even consider this? Well, let's look at a depth chart. We know Buffalo signed Joey Bosa this offseason. That's a big-time addition, but it also brings some risk. Bosa's injury history is real. We've all seen it. If Bosa goes down, are we comfortable losing someone as reliable as Epenesa? We're talking about a defense that's still trying to get over the postseason hump, and edge pressure is critical, especially when facing guys like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, or whoever else you meet deep in the playoffs. Trading Epenesa could give the Bills more flexibility, maybe bring in draft capital, or help clear space for an in-season move. But is that worth giving up one of your most consistent pass rushers? Think about this. Epenesa's 6 sacks in 2023 would have been the best on the Panthers. For us, that's depth. For them, that's a potential starter and cornerstone. So sure, Carolina should make the call. But should Buffalo pick up the phone? That's the real question. All right, switching gears for a second. Let's talk Amari Cooper. Remember when we brought him in mid-season last year, hoping he'd be the missing piece for Josh Allen? Big name, big resume, pro bowler, route running technician. On paper, it made all the sense in the world. But the results? Not exactly what we hoped for. Cooper suited up for just 8 games and ended with 20 catches, 297 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's not the kind of impact you expect from a guy you envisioned as your WR1B next to Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid. And in the playoffs, 6 catches, 41 yards across 3 games. Now general manager Brandon Beane isn't throwing any shade. He's actually defending the move. I do think Amari helped our offense. Beane said, no, he didn't put up all pro numbers, but our offense still averaged over 30 points a game. We were second in total scoring. His presence took pressure off guys like Shakir, Knox in the run game. I don't regret the move, and he's right in a way. Cooper's presence might have helped with spacing and matchups, even if it didn't show up in the box score. But for a player of his caliber and with his contract, you expect more. Beane also mentioned Cooper battled a wrist injury and a banged up back, so there's some context. Still, heading into the 2025 season, it looks like the Bills are moving forward without Cooper, unless he's willing to come back on a team-friendly deal. So let's zoom out for a second. What do all these moves and potential moves mean for Buffalo in the grand scheme? We've got the NFL draft right around the corner. We've got big contracts already handed out to guys like Josh Allen, Terrell Bernard, Greg Rousseau, and Christian Benford. Cap space is tight, which means every roster spot is precious. Epenesa and Cooper are both talented, but one's a pending free agent after this season, and the other already feels like a chapter that's closing. The Bills have made it clear. They're not just trying to be good, they're trying to be elite. And that means some fan favorites might get moved. Some names we thought were part of the core might not be here come week 1. That's just the reality when you're a team chasing the Lombardi. You need flexibility. You need youth. You need guys who can grow together and peak at the right time. And when you're building like that, sometimes you have to make tough calls, like trading AJ Epenesa or saying goodbye to a Pro Bowl wideout. So, here's the headline that's got the entire fan base side-eyeing the newswire. NFL.com analyst Chad Reuter is floating a trade idea between the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. Yup, the same Ravens who've gone toe-to-toe with us in the playoffs. The same Ravens who are just as hungry to get past Kansas City as we are. That's the team this analyst thinks we should be making deals with? Okay, here's the proposal. Buffalo sends their 28th overall pick in the first round and a 4th rounder to Baltimore. In return, the Bills move up 4 spots to 24th overall and get a 6th round pick in return. So just to recap, we move up 4 spots and drop 2 rounds later on day 3 of the draft. Seems like a minor shift on paper, right? But then comes the rationale, and that's where it gets wild. Reuter suggests that Buffalo would make this move to draft one of 2 wide receivers, Isaiah Bond or Matthew Golden, both out of Texas. Problem is, that makes 0 sense. The players in question, let's break this down. Matthew Golden is a solid wideout, no doubt. Good speed, hands, a nice route runner, could be a mid to late first round pick. But he's not the guy who's going to change the franchise overnight. He's not Stephon Diggs in his prime. Reuter has him going as high as 12th to Dallas. That feels like a reach. Golden is good, but top 12 good? Isaiah Bond, now this is where things really go off the rails. Bond was projected to be a riser in the draft until legal issues hit. Right now he's dealing with serious allegations, including a potential sexual assault case. That's not something a team like the Bills, a franchise with a strong culture and locker room leadership, is going to take lightly. There's no shot Buffalo touches Bond in the first round. 0. So the big question becomes, why make this trade at all? History repeating itself. Let's rewind to last year. Remember what happened when the Bills traded their first round pick to the Kansas City Chiefs? Yeah, the defending Super Bowl champions. So they could draft Xavier Worthy, the fastest guy in the NFL draft? That's right. We gave the Chiefs our biggest postseason hurdle, the weapon they needed to get even faster. And how did that work out? We all saw what Worthy did at the Combine. And in those Chiefs colors, that trade still stings. So now, 1 year later, we're going to hand a potential upper hand to the Ravens? Make it make sense. What's Buffalo really trying to do? If this trade is even remotely on Brandon Beane's radar, and that's a big if, the only way it makes sense is if the Bills have a very specific guy in mind that they know won't fall to 28. Let's say Buffalo loves a particular receiver. Maybe not Golden, maybe not Bond, maybe it's someone like Adonai Mitchell, or maybe even Brian Thomas Jr. Guys who've been climbing draft boards and might not be there if we stay put. If Beane believes this guy can be the missing piece for Josh Allen, the next true WR1, then yeah, maybe you move up 4 spots. Maybe. But let's also not forget, Beane already gave Allen a high upside target in Amari Cooper during the 2024 season. Even though Cooper didn't light up the stat sheet, the offense as a whole, over 30 points per game. One of the best in the league. So again, if wide receiver is still the focus, Beane better be certain this guy is a future Pro Bowler. While we're on the topic, let's talk Amari Cooper real quick. Cooper came to Buffalo with big expectations. Former Pro Bowler, experienced route runner, the kind of guy who should thrive with Josh Allen slinging it. But the production? Just 20 catches, 297 yards, and 2 TDs in 8 games. In the playoffs? Barely a whisper. 6 catches for 41 yards across 3 games. General manager Brandon Beane has said he doesn't regret the move. He believes Cooper helped the offense in other ways, like drawing coverage and keeping the everybody eats mantra alive. And hey, that might be true. But with Cooper likely on the way out, that WR spot becomes even more crucial. And maybe, just maybe, that's why Beane would consider trading up again. Still, with so many receiver options in this deep class, wouldn't it make more sense to sit tight, see who falls to 28, and use those mid-round picks to bolster the depth chart? All right, Mafia, now it's your turn. Let's talk about it. Should the Bills trade AJ Epenesa if the Panthers or another team come calling? Is it worth it to clear cap space or stock up on picks? Or do you think his consistency is too valuable to let go, especially with Bosa's health being a question? And what about Amari Cooper? Would you give him another shot at the right price? Or was last season enough to know it's time to move on? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear from all of you. And while you're down there, don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button. We're going to be dropping more exclusive coverage, draft breakdowns, and insider updates all off season long. If you're riding with the red, white, and royal blue, you're in the right place. Until next time, stay loud, stay proud, and go Bills.